Wait, Lorenzo, what's this link that you just posted?
Oh, it's Bionic Commando.
The old game or the new
Yeah,
one?
the ending of the old game. So when I
Oh,
said right now it had a Bionic Commando ending, you could look at the end of that YouTube link and you would see what I was talking about.
okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. All right, I see we're live now, so. All right, Joe.
You're live, Malik.
Yep, I know.
You didn't know.
What's up once again, people, and welcome back. We are the Agents of Helm, and we are back.
Malik, stretch
Yo,
it.
what's up?
Stretch it out. Stretch it.
What?
I'm going to go get some water. You just keep talking.
Now I gotta start all over again, man.
Yeah. Stretch it.
No,
Stretch it.
yeah.
That's one of our values. Stretch it.
You will wait. I will wait for you to come back, Lorenzo. Go get your water.
Please keep us on hold longer.
This is not a time for a stretch opportunity.
Hey, Joe. So the people that I reserved for the fantasy football draft,
Uh-huh.
they called me back and they were like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you we're closed on Sundays, on
Wait,
all Sundays in
wait a second.
August." I'm like, "But you guys let me reserve the table. Like I got on the website and reserved the actual table, and then you sent me an email saying you're closed on Sundays in August." So
So
now,
what happens now?
No. They're giving me a different location, in the same area.
Okay.
But it's just a different location. I just have to tell them, where I
But
want
I
to
mean, it's
go.
a
Like, they
different
give me-
bar then, right?
Yeah, it's a
Or-
different bar. Yeah, it's a different bar, same price. I just have to give them, like, they gave me a list of 5 different places we can do it at,
Okay.
and I just have to pick which one I want.
Do what
And
at?
it should be the same time. Fantasy football draft for this Sunday.
Guys, you know we're live, right?
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
Waiting for you.
I've been here. My water.
All right. 1, 2, 3. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How's everybody doing out there? We are back. The Agents of Helm are in the building, and we are ready to give you another weekly dose of what's going on in news and entertainment out there in the world. So I will kick it over to my colleagues here. We have Joe,
What's up, people?
and we have Johanna.
Hey.
And as you guys know, I always introduce him last because he goes right into the box office for us. Of course, we have Lorenzo getting ready to do our box office rundown. So, Lorenzo, take it away.
Sure thing, Malik. All right. So, number 5 in the box office this week is The Giver. That one just started up this week. That obviously is one of those books you were meant to read when you were in, middle school?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, and it probably had a deep impact on many of you. The movie, not so much. Made $12 million. What is going on? Why is there always so much noise back there? Who is somebody like shuffling
That's
papers?
not me this time.
Is somebody actually shuffling papers?
No one
not
is
me.
shuffling papers.
I don't know. If it's then it's got to be somebody's mic because it's just super loud.
Okay, it might be me. I'm trying to get my charger to work because right now it's not working. Okay, I've
Either that
stopped.
or she's painting her nails. One of those two.
No, painting nails makes no noise.
Should we wait till you're finished painting your nails? Do you need some time to blow?
My nails are not painted, Lorenzo.
All right.
Thank you for blowing them for me.
So, number 5 this week was The Giver. Many of you probably read that in high school, or many of you actually probably didn't read it in high school because you just weren't the reading types who read stuff like The Giver. Although it was a good book, right, Johanna? You read it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great book, which is why I didn't
Yeah,
want to
great book.
watch the movie. And it's
Incidentally, Johanna has a new series she's starting up called Good Books, Bad Movies. So I think she should watch The Giver. That way so she can see if it fits into that category of a good book that was turned into a bad movie.
I'm skeptical of the movie, so I think it might be a prime candidate.
I
accept your challenge.
Okay. Right after you see Guardians of the Galaxy. And
It's not going to happen until, I've given up on that dream.
Don't give up. Never give up.
We'll see if I can get to it this weekend.
All right. So then, at number 4, we have The Expendables 3, which I think all the agents got to see, so we should have some fun discussing that. Number 3 is the guy from The New Girl, and he's in a movie called Let's Be Cops.
Both guys are in the New
Both
Girl.
of them.
Yep.
Oh, the other guy too?
Yeah, he was in the very
He was in the first one.
episode.
He was Coach.
Yeah, and he came
Yep,
back.
he still
came
is.
back recently.
Oh yeah, that's right. He came back. That's right. Okay, great. So Let's Be Cops is number 3. I'm sure it's very funny. It's actually somehow it's budget, so it's good. It's all in the red, the black. What do you call
Comedies
it?
seem to do that in the black. Yeah, in the black.
Black.
Comedies seem to do that though.
I've said it once. I've said it a million times. When the movies have small budgets, they tend to make more money, and that is an example. Let's Be Cops. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2 again this week, and it is up to 222. So it's like a lucky number for Guardians of the Galaxy because it's number 2 in the box office, and it's made $222 million so far. And at number 1, everybody's favorite amphibians, or are they lizards?
They're not lizards. They're turtles.
Amphibians.
Title.
Amphibians. Everybody's favorite amphibians, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My biggest problem with the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles is that they really didn't seem like teenagers to me. They seemed like they were older.
Michelangelo definitely seemed like a teenager.
I don't know.
Well, they're on
Michelangelo,
PBS.
especially Raphael. Raphael seemed like he was an angry 20-something-year-old.
They're pumped on steroids.
Yeah, man. Kids, stay away from the steroids. They will take away your childhood.
Turn you into turtles.
And take away your childhood and not make you teenagers anymore. Yeah, okay. So then that is their top 5. The rest of them are inconsequential. That's all I got. I'm done.
You're done. Lorenzo's out.
Lorenzo's definitely right about one thing. Of the top 5, the agents did get an opportunity to see Expendables 3.
One thing.
Yeah, you were right about one thing. That one of the things in your rundown is that we all saw Expendables 3.
I was right about everything.
Well, you were right about the numbers because you're getting that from you didn't just pull those out of the air.
How do
So
you know?
I can't I can't give you credit for being right about the box office because clearly that's a matter of public record. But you were right. We did see the Expendables 3. So just kind of want to give it over to Joe. What did you think about the movie? Let's start the conversation there.
I thought it was a fun movie. It wasn't obviously not the best movie. I mean, if you want to see a bunch of old guys running around shooting up the place, then The Expendables is for you. But what I did like is they fused in some young blood, some new people. You got Kellen Lutz of Twilight fame, and he also played Hercules earlier this year. What was it, Legend of Hercules? Yeah, The Legend of Hercules, Kellen Lutz. Now he's an Expendable. You had Ronda Rousey in there, which I told you guys I loved her in the movie. She's going to be one of my favorite female action heroes if she gets it together on the screen. But her fight scenes were great, and I particularly loved the fight scene in the bar. That was good. And what's his name? Banderas. I know they did a little shout out to Assassins in the movie. I'm trying to remember the line, but there was a line from Assassins in there. Obviously it was the movie that Sylvester Stallone and Antonio Banderas did together. And Antonio was funny. He was very funny in the movie. Initially, after he had his small scene in the beginning, I thought he was done for the movie, and then, bam, he just shows up again, and then he doesn't leave the screen after that, which is pretty good. Overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. It's definitely, you just sit back and you shut your mind off and you watch the movie. The same thing could be said about Turtles, but I think I expected more there. Expendables gave me what I expected. Old guys shooting things up, and that's it. That's all I wanted from that movie, and I got it in spades.
And you know what? It made sense.
And there you go. For Lorenzo, it made sense because that's all he wants.
Wow. High praise.
Well, I mean,
High praise.
it did make sense, and I guess it made sense in its level of simplicity. You know,
Yes.
it was
Exactly my
simple.
point. Why
It
make it so complicated? Make it nice and simple, and it makes sense, and then I will happily turn my mind off.
I mean,
Making it really complicated and not making any sense, and then so you're making me think about something that doesn't make any sense. So
Oh yes, and
Sylvester
guys, I forgot to
Stallone
mention.
has the smarts to not do that. Sylvester, say what you will about him, he is a solid scriptwriter. He will take a movie from the beginning
Did
to
he
the
write it?
middle to the end. Yes.
Did he write it?
Yes.
Okay. And one thing I did leave out is the return of
Yeah,
Wesley
that's
Snipes.
what
I
I
was very
thought.
happy to see Wesley Snipes. Let's get that Blade franchise going again.
Yeah, I'm sure
I'm
that's
sure
not
he would love that.
Yeah, I mean, he'd love that for the money. You know,
Oh yeah.
That'd be great.
sure he'd be well on board for that one. No, I mean, look, movie was. I can't in good faith I can't rip this movie and say that Turtles was what I expected and not rip Turtles and not rip Transformers the way we ripped it. I mean, I honestly felt like it's just the same old same old. It's the same.
This is better, Malik.
This is no. It's better. It's better than those movies. No. I agree with that.
Yes.
It's better than those movies. The physical action, and I'm always going to be a bigger fan of physical action films over CGI. That's probably just the old school action buff, action movie, fan in me. But I think that as far as like what the movie gives you, and just some of the craziness that actually happens in the film, like I guess like I said, you're expecting it, so it's not so far-fetched when you see for instance Barney going, Barney running in a building that's blowing up. I mean, I just said it, like he's running in a building that's blowing up, that's crumbling to the ground, and he has to get to the
That
roof
is
in order to get away
fine.
yeah, like I said, it's fine because
I'm happy to see it.
it's fine because it's
That's what
in
I
this
want to
movie.
see.
It's fine because it's in this movie. If it's in any other movie, you walk out the theater. But it's because it's in this movie that you actually say, no, it's okay, I can live with it. And that's why it just makes me laugh now rather than have any feeling about it. So I don't really know. Like it's cliche. It's formulaic. It goes from beat to beat. It doesn't really do much. It doesn't challenge you. It doesn't. It's just.
Challenge you?
It's just a big. I mean, it's just a big explosive barrel of fun. And I guess, like I said, if that's what you want, then great.
Why else would you see this movie?
I don't know. I mean, like there are some common sense points even in a movie like
my God.
this.
I can't believe you're like doing a
no.
complete 180 from last week.
No. You don't understand what I'm saying. You don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are some common sense points where bad guy versus good guy type of things, that these things happen in these movies and it bothers you. Like, I understand why Barney, the Barney character, doesn't just kill Mel Gibson in the very beginning when he captures him. I understand that because he's got to take him to the Hague. He's got a contract to fulfill and so on and so forth. So despite his hate, he has to keep the guy alive. What bothers me is when first off, you capture somebody, make sure they don't have anything else on them. Come on, please. That's like rule number 1, okay?
Hey,
make sure they don't have anything on them.
Hold on. Johanna, did you figure your charger situation out? Okay, so
Yeah, I guess not.
maybe she's on mute or she's not.
No, she
there
just came back. She dropped and came back.
Okay. Yeah, because there's just I don't know what it is, but somebody is making a lot of noise. It's gonna be distracting when we're broadcasting.
Okay.
And so I don't know.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything.
Malik, your microphone is like in a position where it's not going to be rubbing against anything.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I'm holding my microphone because it's a little sketchy right now. I don't particularly trust it. Can you
Joe,
guys
do
hear
you,
me?
Joe,
Yeah,
do
we
you
can hear you
hear
fine.
do you hear the
Okay.
noise?
Yeah, I heard it, but I don't hear it now.
I don't hear anything
Okay.
either.
All right. I'm
So
sorry. Go ahead.
no. So it's to me, it's like bad guy, good guy 101, right? You capture the bad guy. Make sure the bad guy doesn't have anything else on him that can be traced or anything like that. Don't. He's got a watch. He's got a GPS watch. Seriously. That's the thing That's the thing that gets him caught. That's the thing that gets him found out. Like there are certain beats in these movies that just bother me. If you're Mel Gibson and you've got, why not just kill those four? Barney's coming after you anyway. You've captured them. Just kill them. What's the point? Why play this game?
Why didn't Mel Gibson just kill Barney in the beginning when he had a chance from the helicopter?
Exactly.
Instead he shot Terry Crews.
Exactly. These are the things that, and so it's to me.
I know it bothers you, but we wouldn't have a movie if he did.
But I mean, I think it's because it's establishing his character as being the bad guy. He's not. It's like kind of ironic, but if you just kill people, you're not really the bad guy.
But you're a killer.
thug.
That's kind of what you are. I mean, he's
Right,
the
but
killer.
you're not the bad guy.
Yeah,
The bad guy just doesn't just go kill people. The bad guy will kill certain people and not kill other people because that's sort of their job.
No, well, he wanted to make Barney suffer. He wanted to shoot Terry Crews because he knew
That's what
that
makes
would
him the
hurt
bad
more
guy.
than actually killing him. And he wanted him to suffer. He wanted him to lose another expendable because
Right.
he's lost so many.
Why?
So he wanted to
Why
make him
Terry?
feel that way?
No, see, he shot Terry Crews because as far as this movie is concerned, there's only allowed to be one black guy in the Expendables. Only
I knew
one
that was
active. There's only one active black member in the Expendables. One has to go because Wesley Snipes has to come in. That's the reason why he shot Terry Crews.
It's the
that
balance of
is
life.
the truth, Malik. Probably most likely that is the truth. But for the most part, but in the movie itself, he's trying to get to Barney, to Sylvester Stallone's character.
Balance must be restored. Mel Gibson saw that and he took steps.
I mean, damn, affirmative action exists in the Expendables. I was sitting there watching it. I'm like, wow, this is real. The black guy gets shot because the other black guy got recruited again. Seriously, of all the people that get shot, I was like, man, come on. That really kind of cut deep. You cut me deep there. You cut me deep there.
Weren't they both out of it in the middle of the movie? Weren't they both sidelined?
Well, not really.
Yes, when they had the new group.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Go ahead, Johan. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's just what I was gonna say. That he technically was sidelined, but he was ready for action. Terry Crews was not going to see action in that film, and we all knew it.
You got some shooting in at the beginning. I mean, you gotta I'm not arguing that
After he got shot.
I could say the same for Expendables 2. They got rid of Jet Li early in the movie because they had the other Chinese girl waiting in the wings to come in. So when he left the movie,
was the girl.
other Chinese girl came in. So I mean, they replaced one Chinese with another. You can't. I guess they couldn't have two Chinese in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have to say, I was disappointed by the lack of Jet Li in this film. He comes out at the end, but he doesn't do anything.
But by now we
That was a bummer.
expect no Jet Li. They pretty much established that in the second one, right? No Jet Li for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Then why was he in the film at all?
Well, because they brought them all back, and then clearly they've alluded to an Expendables 4.
Yeah, it's like didn't Jet Li quit? Like, that was my question.
No,
I
he
don't know,
didn't
he jumped out of the plane.
Jumped out of the plane in the second one because he had to take care of something in Hong Kong or wherever he was. He was like, just let me out here, and he jumped out the plane.
And that's how he.
And then
leaves.
in like
Okay.
5 minutes later, you find out which is another Chinese girl.
Yes, because the blacks and the Chinese will be confused if you put two of them on the screen at the same
I
time.
mean, I would think it'd be okay if one's a woman and one's a man. Is that no? I guess not.
I don't know. Look. There's no other way to explain it to me. I was sitting there watching it, And as soon as Terry Crews gets shot, I was like, oh, fitting. That makes perfect sense. I was like, this makes perfect sense. Terry Crews is not coming back into this movie at all. Like, the biggest guy.
At least he
in the
didn't
entire-
die.
I mean, that was kind of a cop-out, I felt. Like, I mean, it just, there's not that much impact if he doesn't die, in my opinion.
True. Yeah, I think had
That's
he
true.
died,
I
it
thought
probably
he
would have
was-
drove
yeah.
them all to.
It was pretty watered
fight.
down.
It's like when they killed the kid in the second one, you know? They had to kill him to up the ante.
Right. And I mean, I was
Spoiler
questioning.
alert?
I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, does Terry Crews have some other project going on that he couldn't actually be a, he could be in the movie, but he couldn't actually be in the movie. So they were like, oh, let's find a way to kind of write him out of this film, but leave it open so that he can join the next film when they make an Expendables 4, because they're probably going to make an Expendables 4. You know, so like we can't kill him because
Yeah.
we kind of don't want to kill him, because Wesley Snipes may want more money in the fourth one, and we just decided to move on without him. So we need the black quotient. We need the black component in this film in order to move it forward. So let's not kill Terry Crews. I don't know. It was very comical to me. But no,
So,
I mean, look,
all in all, how did you think Mel Gibson did as a bad guy?
Mel Gibson does crazy very well. I will always say that
Mhm.
to me, there was some rigs in this character. There was a little bit of, there was just a little bit of crazy around that, and he does crazy well. Like, he really does that maniacal bad guy. He does a good job at it. I think he did a way better job than Jean-Claude did in the second one. I really believed him more than I did Jean-Claude. And I thought that he had a viable reason for, everything that he was doing too. Like, he's a businessman. He decided, look, I don't want to be an employee anymore. I want to be a boss. And you guys just want to be employees, so go ahead and go do that, but don't get in my way. And you got in my way, and I killed some of you. So guess what? This is kind of how it works, right? So I was okay with that. I actually was rooting. I won't say I was rooting specifically for Mel Gibson, but I kind of understood where he was coming from, and I didn't necessarily look at him as the bad guy in the movie, even though I'm sure everybody else did.
So you liked
I
him.
felt like he was playing himself, and he plays himself well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was great to watch. I mean, he was a total ham, and he was batshit, and he was everything he was supposed to be in that role.
I mean, obviously, yeah, he was all about like playing a game. Like, he was playing a game against them. You know, it was for him. It wouldn't have been enough to just wouldn't have been enough to just like shoot the four young characters, young Expendables, and kill them and just kind of leave their bodies hanging. Right? It wouldn't have been enough to do that. He had to play the game, string it along, make sure Barney came back, and I got that. So I definitely got the point of it, but I was just sitting there watching it like, man, just shoot him. It's like,
No, you had to lose Barney. You had to get Barney back there. You had to get Barney in the building so you can kill all 15 of them, or however many there were by the end of the film.
I mean, that's the thing about this movie, right? Like, I was watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is the scene that establishes this, and it leads to this scene, and that scene that leads to this, and it's all going to lead, obviously, to being only Barney and only Mel Gibson, Like,
In a crumbling building.
and having that comfort in a plot that you could that you knew where it was going, kind of made everything else really comfortable, and you didn't really question a lot. I questioned nothing in this film. I didn't, because I'm just like, I know where each scene leads, like, I know where it's gonna go, so everything else is kind of, just serving that.
right. You're fully aware of what you're watching and where things are going to lead to. So as long as they do lead that way, I think this is the type of. But to me, this is also the type of movie where a good plot twist would have been awesome. Like like some kind of a cliffhanger situation, or an introduction of a new villain or something like that would have been great, right? Just to kind of throw the story off because you already know which way it's going, and you already know what to expect, and then something happens and it throws you off, and it never did that. And I think that was I was a little disappointed just because of that too, because I kind of wanted something that I didn't get.
I think you were expecting too much from Expendables 3.
Yeah, like I thought maybe Harrison Ford would kind of turn out to be the villain, and then he'd get into a fight with Barney, and then he'd break his leg again, and they'd have to like close up production, like they did on Star Wars. Yeah.
Exactly. See, it could have been something, just something like that. I don't know that I was asking too much of the film, or that I was just expecting too much of it. I mean, like I said, I knew what I was getting into. I'm not surprised at what happened, and it was fun. It was fun. So Lorenzo, you've seen all three of these movies, right? Is Lorenzo there?
Lorenzo?
All right. You might be on mute.
Okay.
Anyway, Joe, you've seen all three of these movies. Can you compare the villains? Is Joe gone too? Or maybe I'm gone.
Joe?
And no, I'm not gone.
No, I'm here.
Okay, well, you've seen all three.
There's
of these
Lorenzo.
movies. You've seen all three of these movies, right, Johanna? And you've seen them all recently, right?
Oh no, I only saw part of Expendables 2.
Okay.
The villain in that I don't really remember.
It was
so
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I'm sorry.
It was Jean-Claude Van Damme in the second one.
Oh.
In the first one, it was Eric Roberts.
Yes, he was in the jungle.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
In the
He was
first
in the
one, it
jungle.
was Eric Roberts and Batista from Dexter. That was the first
Oh.
one. The second one was Jean-Claude, and then this one. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't really.
I would say I thought
can't really
Mel
compare them.
was the strongest villain in all three. I really did like him.
I thought he was a great villain. I really did. I thought he was gonna like get someone in a jacuzzi and threaten them. That would have been great. Or called someone sugar tits. But
Yes,
it
that
just
would have
didn't
been
happen.
awesome. That would have been awesome. I think that there was an opposite. I know. Also, I realized it was a PG-13. This one was PG-13 over the other two
Oh,
that
really?
were R. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah. There was not a lot of cursing from what I remember, and the fighting, which is something I did want to talk about, which is just, I think we talked about it earlier, is just like how I wish there had been more hand-to-hand fighting. Like the guns kind of weren't doing it for me because you couldn't even see where they were going. You couldn't see where the bullets were going. They were just shooting like red shirts everywhere and didn't really make any sense. But like the few hand-to-hand combat scenes there were pretty awesome. It's just they were too short. Like I wanted some extended, I wanted the Ronda Rousey, I wanted her to, have a more extended hand-to-hand combat scene. And one of the other young guys had another scene, right?
What's the boxer's name? Did he have a scene? Oh my God, what's his name? The guy with the shotgun.
Yeah, you're talking about the short guy.
Yeah, but he's a
Lars.
boxer in real life.
Yeah. Ortiz.
Yeah, Victor Ortiz.
Victor Ortiz.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a fighting scene, didn't he? I know he had scenes with the shotgun. I'm trying to remember. Did he have a hand-to-hand scene?
I don't recall him having.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joe, you're coming out really hot, and there's also does somebody have like a fan or air conditioner on?
No, I think that's on Joe's end too.
Yeah, I got the air conditioner.
It's the same sound that we heard the last time.
Yeah, it's the same. That's right.
Out again?
Yeah,
You're
you're
running that, and we can hear your air conditioner
in the background.
How about now?
Still,
Yep.
same thing.
I can hear it.
Am I still loud?
Yes.
How about now?
Still pretty loud.
I don't.
It's lower, but it's, you know. I mean, I don't think it needs to be completely out of the way for us to be able to record, but I think we can record even with it, as long as it's not like overtaking your voice or overtaking us when you're not speaking. It sounds fine now.
I mean, I haven't said anything. Am I loud?
You're still kind of loud, but it's not bad, and I still do hear that thing in the background, but it's also
It's
not
weird
bad.
that I just rebooted and you didn't hear. Prior to that, you didn't hear anything, and now you hear it. So I don't know what's going on.
How did you fix it last week?
I switched to my laptop, so it looks like I'm gonna have to do that now. I just rebooted my other Chromebook, and now because my signal kept dropping, so I rebooted it, and now I sound crazy. So, all right, let me switch. Yeah, keep going, guys.
All right, so Johanna, we were at the point where you were talking about the hand to hand. So let's go back there.
Okay. So Ronda Rousey and then Antonio Banderas actually like joins her for some sort of hand-to-hand combat scene, and I know there's another hand-to-hand combat scene, but they were just not long enough for me.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that.
Like, I mean, I would hope that like the whole point of bringing on like younger people is to have more scenes like that, because obviously Sylvester Stallone isn't gonna like, you know, throw someone over his back or whatever. So, but like I don't know the background of the other people who were in that film, like the other younger people.
Well, you had Victor Ortiz, who's a boxer. You had Kellen Lutz, who I think is he's just a regular actor. I don't think he's well known for anything action based. And I don't even know the guy who played the technician kid.
The Thorn.
Is that what his name was?
Yeah, I only remember because he was cute. I don't know what else he did in that film. That's all.
Well, he sent jamming signals to everything, so he jammed.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's always that guy. That guy's always there. Like, oh, the bomb's getting ready to go off. You've got this thing on your arm. Okay, let's just use that to disarm them. And so the funny thing is, I'm used to Joe being the one to point these things out and rip them apart. But he's not ripping this apart this time, and I'm kind of curious as to why this is happening.
I'm telling you, the plot structure like lulls you like a lullaby.
Maybe that's it.
Then you're kind of just
like you're not allowed
you're
not allowed to be upset at it, right?
Yeah, like I mean, like I was telling Joe earlier, like this movie was obviously not made for the nerdy historical fiction fan that I am. But at the same time, like I couldn't hate it. Like I was just like, okay, like let's do this thing. Like I recognize the plot pattern, let's just do it. And there's likable characters and Antonio Banderas. Like if I close my eyes, I just imagine Puss in Boots saying the things he's saying.
Yes, absolutely. The voice is
right?
so synonymous with it. Yes.
At this point, it's like he will be forever haunted by Puss in Boots because I would just close my eyes and pretend Puss in Boots was in the movie.
Yep.
And Wesley Snipes. And actually, I like Christmas. Like Jason Statham, I also liked him a lot in the second film. So thought he was good.
He's been consistently my favorite character in the Expendables. Like every time, from the fact that, like you said, there's not a lot of hand-to-hand stuff, so he's the only one that really does the knife fighting, and the knife fighting is a close combat. That has to be close combat because it's knives, unless you're throwing them. And, but he seemed to, in every film, he seemed to have those opportunities to kind of show off his knife skills. And when you do that, that's the part where you get the close combat. So he's not just running around shooting people. He's also got this secondary expertise that he can show as well, rather than the rest of them who are just like busting off shots, and that's what they do. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. He's always been him and Jet Li were my favorites in the first film, and then Jet Li left, and so he was my favorite in the second film, and in this movie, he's him and Wesley Snipes are my favorites, with the exception of Antonio Banderas and his comedy relief. I even think Antonio Banderas was found a way to have a nice chemistry moment with Ronda Rousey, in their scene.
Yes.
And that like to me,
Yeah.
and for her to be like a brand new actress, and him to be able to kind of use his acting ability to kind of, create that chemistry scene between the two of them was great.
Hmm.
Yeah, he definitely
You
wins
know,
the acting
people,
top for me.
like I think people underestimate him because he's Puss in Boots now. And I think there was a whole lot of the whole thing with like Latin Lover and Melanie Griffith, but I actually think he's a pretty good actor. He was in Interview with the Vampire, and he was totally inappropriate for the role, but he was really good in it.
Mhm.
So I think he's a good actor. He's one of those career actors, where like they're on the set and they kind of bring everybody up.
Right.
So, I think that he fills that role well, and he was just so funny. He was so
Yeah.
funny.
It seems like nothing's too big for him either. Like, there's no role that he can't do.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to be perfectly comfortable in any kind of situation, doing any kind of a role, and kind of bringing his own flair to it. Like, I would have never thought that the character that he was playing was like this really talkative, annoying guy that who was the guy who he turned out to be. Especially when they introduce him and he's doing like all that parkour and all that stuff. And he
Yeah.
comes down to the bottom and he pulls the mask down and you're like, oh, it's Antonio Banderas, and then he starts talking and you're like, holy crap. Like, so there's a reason why we don't take him in the beginning. So it's awesome. I just thought he was absolutely great. He stole his scenes, definitely for me.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you
Also,
fine.
another little highlight that Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I sound
Go
fine?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead, Johanna. Sorry.
Mhm.
You said it was another thing you were talking about?
I was just gonna say one tiny little, just speaking of like actors, like career actors,
Mhm.
was Arnold Schwarzenegger saying "get in the chopper"
Yes.
twice. I wonder how much money they had to like give him for each one of those. Get in the chopper.
I was wondering if that actually, if they specifically requested him to say that.
They must have.
This
I
time
mean, it
around.
wasn't.
Yeah, because I think he
The
says
first
it.
one might
Doesn't he
have been
say
an
that
accident, but by
in?
the second one,
Doesn't he say it in Predator?
Yeah, I
yeah,
believe it's Predator. Yeah, I believe it's either Predator
Get
or
the chopper.
yeah.
exactly. So he says it in this film.
Yes, he
Twice.
definitely
And
has
like,
his
there's no
moments.
reason.
Yeah, a lot of those guys said
There was no
lines.
reason for him to say that either.
I was curious why no any reason why no Bruce Willis in this one?
Yeah, I mean Harrison Ford took his place in this movie. I don't know. Maybe he just got. I don't know why, but I know they replaced him with Harrison Ford. And they tie it together, saying that I know you're used to dealing with so and so, but I'm the new guy now.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he was just like he's
So,
gone, like he's no
yeah.
longer here. So I was like,
Right.
does that mean that they killed him? Like,
Uh,
because you can't kill Bruce Willis. I mean, you can't. It's just kind of how it is.
he dies hard, man.
Bruce
No,
Willis
he
does
can't.
not die in any of his films. So you can't tell me
Except
you just killed
Armageddon,
him.
and he had to kill himself, and it took an asteroid
He
to kill
chose
him.
that
so.
death.
Exactly.
And it was a
Had-
glorious
chose
death.
Had he wanted to, Ben Affleck would have been stuck on that crater. He made the choice to send Ben Affleck up. Ben Affleck would have been stuck on that crater. Like the movie
He
did not
played
want him
Viking
to die.
Funeral, the for real game. It was like the for real Viking Funeral.
Now, I'm curious if there's gonna be. So, Joe, have you heard anything about a potential fourth one, or were you just kind of speculating on that?
I just speculated on that. I mean, the way it ends, it kind of leads you to believe that there's going to be a fourth. You know, I can't imagine them not doing it. They're you know, I'm sure they lost some money with the early leak of the film. Um, you know, I think it probably would have done at least a little bit better than it did this weekend. But I mean, these movies make money. I mean, it proves they've come out with a movie every year, right? It's been every year, every other year, I think.
Yeah, the first one came out
Uh,
in 2010, and I
yeah,
think the second one came out 2012.
2012,
Yeah,
and now 2014. I can't
yeah.
imagine them. Keep going while you can. I mean, I'm sure Arnold is all in on it. I mean, even though Arnold's probably, I think he's in the midst of doing another Terminator film, or trying to do another Terminator film. Uh, you
Gosh,
know,
man, give it up, man. Just give it
Yeah.
up. Hand the
but
reins
Malik,
over to somebody else.
if Arnold came out with another Terminator film, you'd be right there
See,
just to see it.
that's the difference. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd and I'm a geek. I have accepted my fate. Like I'm going to see if you tell me a new Star Wars movie is coming out and you tell me that the Star Wars movie is going to star Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf, I'm going to see it because it says Star Wars. I know it's gonna stink. Like, dude, I watched Ninja Turtles. Why did I watch Ninja Turtles? Because I'm a big nerd. Not because I thought Ninja Turtles was going to be good, because I knew it wasn't going to be very good, in my opinion. I knew it wasn't going to be my movie. So I don't think that you can compare. I don't think that you can look at the nerds and say to the nerd, "Hey, you're going to see it," because we were going to see it anyway. It didn't matter who was in it. You know,
Yeah,
you
I know
would
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, you would really have
That's what
to
I'm saying.
screw it up for me to not watch this movie.
So Bruce Willis wanted $4 million, and he got bumped. They were going to give him $3 million, and he wanted 4.
I can't imagine he walked away because of $1 million.
Probably did.
That's the word on the street.
Yeah.
And so they picked up Harrison Ford, and then there's that.
And Harrison Ford did it for cheaper than $4 million.
Well, I don't know, but he's Harrison Ford, so.
Harrison Ford he's working on Star Wars, so I'm sure he got plenty of money for his Star Wars role.
Yeah.
Reprise Han Solo, so the Expendables money was probably just, taxes or something like.
And then I guess Jet Li takes a little jab at him, saying, "And I thought Church was an asshole," and so like that's sort of a reference to.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense. Makes sense. All right. Well, Bruce Willis is a money-grubbing, greedy bastard. Okay, cool. That works.
As long as we know where everyone stands.
Well, you got no money.
Exactly.
Harrison Ford's a real pilot, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah,
I'm not so.
I saw Air Force One. I know Harrison Ford's a good pilot. I saw it.
He can fly helicopters and airplanes
I know. He did it. He did it. He did it in each of the movies.
in real life.
He did it. Harrison Ford he's not acting because Harrison Ford could do all that stuff.
He can.
That's what I'm saying. He's not acting.
And yeah, no Chuck Norris this time. I noticed that he was gone too. Chuck Norris was great in the second one.
Yeah, for the 5 minutes he was there.
Yeah, so you couldn't get him to do it again. Chuck Norris is not that busy.
I mean,
can't
I'm
imagine
sure.
that he's so
I'm
busy.
sure he's doing plenty of those commercials. What's the exercise thing he does? The personal gym, whatever that thing is called.
Is it?
I'm sure he's still trying to sell
I know
those.
what you're talking about.
The thing where you slide back and forth.
I have no idea.
You've never
Yeah, I
seen
know
the
what you're
infomercials
talking
with.
about.
I've probably seen the
Chuck
commercials. I don't. Chuck Norris scares me. I don't pay attention to his stuff.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know the name. It's like
trying to think of another,
Glider
like-
or something.
They should probably have the Last Dragon and the next Expendables. I'm sure Taimak didn't look too busy when I saw him at Comic-Con. So they should have him in the next Expendables.
It's like if you're an '80s action star, if you were in any '80s action movie,
If you were in
you're
any
literally
action movie,
you're literally just making sure that your phone you don't get your phone turned off because Sylvester Stallone may call you. You never,
they call you.
like seriously, keep your phone on, pay your AT&T bill because Sylvester Stallone your phone might just ring and it might be Sly on the other end.
Dude,
Like if you leave
they
your
need-
phone for a minute,
Exactly.
like you come back and you're like, did it ring? Was it Sly?
They need to get Steven Seagal in one of these movies. Steven Seagal.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be pretty funny, is what it would be.
Steven Seagal would have to play the bad guy to me. I need him to play a bad guy. He can't play the good guys.
It would be hilarious if he was in one of those movies. And apparently Jackie Chan has turned him down twice for to be in Expendables. So, because Jackie Chan is out. But I'm trying to think. I'm trying to give me another '80s star. Give me somebody or the '90s guy that you want to see in the next Expendables. Can't. Nobody's coming to the top of my head right now. I mean, I know who they should have in it if they want to like really, really give it a lift.
Who's that?
The Rock. The Rock re-energizes everything.
No. First off, The Rock is too young, and he'll take over the screen. Like he will take. Like he's already.
Yeah.
He took over the.
He'll
screen.
be with the young Expendables. He'll be with Ronda Rousey, Kellen Lutz, those guys. He'll be their leader.
Nah, The Rock is too big of a star. He leads movies on his own. He'll take over the screen. I don't want him to step into the Expendables. I kind of like that it's all these actors that time has forgotten. You know.
Well, you have Jason Statham in there just for that reason because Jason Statham, he may be 40. I don't think he is. Jason Statham. He may be close to it, but yeah, everybody else he's with is older than him. He's like the young guy on the team, and he's also like the co-captain. So maybe the next movie, you let Jason Statham like lead the young Expendables on a mission, at least one mission in the movie, because Sly's got to be in there. So
of course, because Sly's got so many scores to settle. Somebody else is gonna be somebody else is gonna like have wronged him in the past or something like that, and he's got to settle it.
Dude, they got to get Liam Neeson in the Expendables. Liam Neeson.
There you go.
Liam Neeson.
Oh.
Yeah, but you can't kill Liam Neeson. That's the whole point. It's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
So
I'm
Liam
not
Neeson's
saying
gonna be
kill him.
another
I'm just saying he
Expendable.
could be in it. He could be in it, and you get Kiefer Sutherland in there too. Get Kiefer Sutherland in there, and you have Brian Mills and Jack Bauer and Rocky. Come on, or Rambo, whichever one you want to pick.
I would definitely like that. Jack, I don't know. Jack Bauer works alone. I wouldn't want Jack Bauer in this movie because that means all the other Expendables are going to die. Every single one of the other characters in this show is going to die. This movie is going to die, including Sylvester Stallone, because Jack Bauer's on this team. I'd quit. I'd literally quit. If Jack Bauer joined my team, I'd quit.
I had to kill all the Expendables to save the country.
Exactly. Because you know what, especially, and then if Jack Bauer actually does join the Expendables, you know one of them is the bad guy.
Yeah.
One of them is the villain, and he's going to turn on his entire group. So
Yeah,
you would not
they're
surprise
gonna
me at
blow
all.
up some island we've never heard of.
Exactly. Yes, that's hilarious. Well, I feel like we've gone so far into the Expendables 3 and given this movie way more attention than we probably intended on. But that's good because I think it leads us right into our show breakdown. So, Johanna, we got a new Masters of Sex episode, did we not?
Chicka womp womp.
We had a couple. There was one last week, but I think we missed it.
Oh, that's right. We did miss that.
And but I'll start with this week's, or rather, I'll thread stuff into it, so to speak, so I don't have to do two.
Okay, cool.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. You're just gonna edit it in post.
You know how long it takes to edit you?
Excuse me? Why does it take you so long to edit me?
Let's just try to keep it.
Now we have to edit this part.
Yeah, seriously.
Go ahead, Johanna.
Okay, so basically this week we had lesbians and kisses and race relations 201. So lesbians, Sarah Silverman is now on the show because her boyfriend is the executive producer. I don't know how any of you feel about Sarah Silverman. I really don't like her. I wish she would get off my show. It looks like maybe she will be. She's Betty the prostitute's former lover, and now they're lovers again, and her husband finds out, Betty's husband, and I think they're going to divorce. All right. Kisses. Apparently, I didn't know this, but when Masters and Virginia are having sex for science, they do not kiss. I didn't realize this. It's like a Pretty Woman kind of thing.
Mm.
So yeah, so they're having sex at the beginning, and like it's really hot, and they're about to kiss, and she's like, no kissing, and then she kind of goes towards him, and he's like, no kissing, so her mentor is dying, and she doesn't want any help, and like it's actually really like these sweet scenes between Virginia and this mentor, and then the mentor kills herself, but before she kills herself, Virginia and Masters are like in bed and not having sex, and like she's the only one who knows me, and then Masters says, I know you, and they kiss. So they kissed, and now
They
I
broke
guess
the rule.
they broke the science rule, you guys. I
Mm.
mean, I don't know how long they can keep saying this is for science. Um,
What would
so
Uncle
then,
Neil say?
Mhm.
What would Uncle Neil think?
What?
Is it Uncle Neil?
Uncle
Now
Neil
getting...
would not be happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Uncle Neil would not be happy with all this kissing. So, third thing, race relations 201. Masters' wife is still incredibly racist. So she found out that she thinks that her nanny has a boyfriend because her nanny starts talking about all the wild sex that they have. And she's like, of course you know about this, to Masters' wife, and they don't have sex. In fact, there's one really sad sex scene where they are having terrible sex. So she becomes obsessed with watching her nanny interact with her boyfriend. Like, and she follows them and everything, and it's really creepy. And that's juxtaposed with, now Bill is at an all-black hospital, and he's trying to get people for his study, and the head doctor's like, you can't use Negroes because of, there's this whole history of like the testing that has been done and the different experiments that have been done on black people, and your study is just going to say that they're people say that black people are over-sexualized, and that the women want it, so that's okay for them to get raped, and the men are rapists because they want it all the time. And so that's kind of juxtaposed with like Libby, Masters' wife, obviously thinking that of the nanny and the boyfriend, and at the same time being like repulsed, but at the same time like really jealous. So she goes to their like apartment, and she finds out that he's the nanny's brother. And yeah. And so the nanny has been lying, I guess, to upset her, or just because I don't know. The nanny's just been lying. So her leg is bleeding, Libby, the wife's leg is bleeding, and he starts like mopping it up, and I guess it's starting to feel good to her, but she gets really upset and tells him not to touch her, and she throws money in his face, and she's like, Coral is fired.
That's the nanny. The Coral is the nanny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there's like this reporter wants to expose Masters as being ostracized, and he's trying to get that taken care of because he's white. He's probably going to get away with it. So, not a lot of sex, kind of heavy, kind of, not sure if that was 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little bit over, but Lorenzo will get you in post.
Exactly.
That's how we do. So, compare this season to seasons past. Is it more or less interesting, more fun, more? What's the tone of this season versus the previous seasons of the show?
It's so dark, you guys.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it.
Dark, and it's not fun, and I gave you guys the recap of last season, and it was more lighthearted, even though it was dealing with issues like nuclear war and everything. The ensemble cast was much more lighthearted. Now this is like dark and depressing, and I'm not sure where they're gonna go. I feel like they can't go back to that, and now this is just like I think they're trying to be Mad Men, and they're not Mad Men. They're not Mad Men. Honestly, they're great. There's a lot of great acting, but it's not the caliber of acting or writing as Mad Men. So I really wish they would stop and go back to Sex for Science.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot more fun. But It seems like a lot of shows are going down this dull, this dull, story-driven, heavy setup,
Yeah.
and so that'll segue into
I
Lorenzo.
knew it.
That segued perfectly into Lorenzo and the leftovers, because according to Lorenzo, something interesting has happened in the leftovers. So I'm very, very excited to hear about this.
Did
More
somebody
than more,
cross the street or something?
I'm more excited to hear about Lorenzo's rundown than I am about the actual show. So I feel like I watched the episodes through Lorenzo. So
Uh,
Lorenzo, how about you give us a quick breakdown of what's going on?
Sure, Malik. Thank you for that lovely introduction to The Leftovers, which has been doing a fantastic job these last few weeks, really picking up. We talked last time we checked in on The Leftovers. We were dealing with Nora and her issues with her bulletproof vest, and her getting a hug from Wayne, and her going to a conference and sexing up a dummy. So that episode was a lot of fun. It followed her. Now we're back to the Garveys, the crazy Garveys. Last week we had Solace for Tired Feet. In that episode, Kevin Sr., the ex chief of the police, actually we get to meet him for the first time. He rescues his daughter Jill from a refrigerator because, as you know, you're not supposed to get kids do not play with refrigerators. They can kill you. And luckily Kevin Sr. was there. He but as it turns out, he also escaped from a mental facility, and so that episode is spent trying to get him back into the mental facility. And during that time, you learn that Kevin Sr. did his best to try to keep his son Kevin out of the game. That's what he calls it, the game, and it's got something to do with an episode. I mean, an issue of National Geographic from like the '80s. And apparently that's some bad news because once Kevin gets into that, then Kevin might start going down the road to Crazy Town, which he could very well already be on because he is now having blackouts where he does not remember things. Joe, as you remember the thing with the shirts, do you remember that? It's all connected. So also in that episode, we saw that there are actually more than one pregnant Chinese girls, so are actually little half Chinese, half Wayne babies. So apparently Wayne's got a few of these babies that he's keeping around in different little houses. So that was another big reveal from last week. This week we've got this week the episode was called Cairo or Caro. And the reason why is because without realizing, basically Kevin, the police chief, woke up and discovered that he had kidnapped the head of the Guilty Remnants with his crazy, strange friend, what's that guy's name? Dean. So Dean and Kevin are now out in the middle of the wilderness in Cairo, New York, with the head of the Remnants basically having kidnapped her, and Kevin has no recollection of the night before of actually picking her up and taking her to this place. And she basically tells them if they let her go, she is going to make sure that he gets arrested, he gets fired, that he loses his family, that he goes to jail. He still refuses to kill her, but she ends up killing herself. So the head of the Guilty Remnants is now dead, killed by her own hands. The blood very much on Kevin, the chief of police. And as it turns out, there was another Guilty Remnant that died as well. And what we learn in this episode is that she was actually also killed by the Guilty Remnants, or by the leader of the Guilty Remnants, as a way to sort of build this, I guess, sentiment for the Guilty Remnants, or to kind of turn themselves into martyrs. You know what I mean? So that was another big reveal of this episode. So yeah, things are definitely happening. Things are exciting. I'm looking forward to next week's episode, and I don't care what you guys say. And you know what? You guys don't even deserve to watch the show. So I'm not going to tell you to watch it because you guys don't deserve it.
Well, if I watch it, then your rundowns won't have any meaning, and I feel like your rundowns need to have meaning to me, so I don't need to watch this. I don't want to
I
watch
don't
the
want you to
show.
watch the show either. I don't want you to watch the show either, Malik. So it works out.
I like story time with Lorenzo. So you know what? If it means I have to miss the show in order to so I can make sure I get my story time, I'm going to miss the show.
Oh, and another big reveal too is that the last time we see Jill in this episode, she is joining up with the Guilty Remnants. So now it's like a mother-daughter thing. Jill being the chief's daughter, and also Kevin's wife is also Guilty Remnant. So we see his daughter now enter and ask for what do you call it when you go somewhere and you ask for them to keep you there?
Sanctuary?
Sure. Yeah. Asking for sanctuary.
Yeah, in the church, right? I guess they're in the church now, the headquarters.
Yeah, I think they're doing something else with the church, and that's another thing. I don't quite understand what they're doing with the church. They have everybody. They have like a bunch of clothes, and they have them all left out. I assume they took them from people's houses, of people that were departed, and they put the clothes out, and then they ordered something, and paid for it. They brought it in, and they put it in the church. And I really don't know what it is that they put. A bunch of packages. Some of them could be the size of like babies or children. They looked a little small to be humans, like human packages, but they were definitely packages. And they brought them in, and the guys that were bringing them in looked very much like a little seedy kind of deal. And the last thing that the guy says when he takes the money and drives off is, "You guys are some sick fucks." So I don't know what they're planning, but I think they're starting to get violent and deadly. So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
At least somebody's excited.
It does sound kind of it sounds interesting.
And you should watch it, Malik.
No. It doesn't sound that interesting. Not interesting enough for me to
Is
watch.
it not that? Okay. Just double checking. Just
To hear about through Lorenzo.
Absolutely. And besides, Joe, we are entirely too busy watching The Strain. So
true that.
And there's way too much going on The Strain right now for us to be paying attention to leftovers. I just feel like that The Strain needs its own opportunity to shine. So. And as agents, our responsibility is to the fans to talk about this. So let's dive in on The Strain. What's going on there? What's happening that people need to know about?
Vampires are finally starting to reveal themselves in public now. So the good doctor, Dr. Goodweather, we'll just call him Ephraim, because I'm not going to keep saying Dr. Goodweather, finds himself in a bit of trouble this past episode. He gets arrested because he knows a little too much about what's going on, and the CDC has conspired against him and is blaming the murder of the pilot, or not murder, but blaming the death of the pilot, the airline pilot, on F. So the CDC has tasked the FBI with arresting him. The FBI finally catches up with him at his family's home, where he goes to warn his ex-wife and his son, tells them to get out of New York City, go to Vermont, visit your mother, get out of here because these vampires are coming out. Now, they never really used the word vampire, but that's what they are. The old man has used it. He called it some German word, I can't remember. But the vampires are out there. You've got the exterminator who's playing a major minor role in the series, but he really has no connection to the doctor or anybody from the CDC. But they're coming in from the side of the exterminator, where he notices all these rats are leaving the sewers, and so he takes it upon himself to investigate this phenomena, and he goes down into the sewers and he notices all these vampires down there. So the vampires notice him in the sewers and start to chase him, but he just manages to get to the manhole just fast enough, and the sunlight stops the vampires from coming up to the street at the time. But
So they're like full-on vampires.
they're full on vampire, except they don't suck your blood in the traditional way that you're used to seeing vampires do it. They have this their tongue or whatever you want to call it comes out like a frog or a lizard. It comes out, attaches itself to your neck, and sucks all your blood.
So
The cool
it's
thing,
like it's like I don't know what it's called, but the thing that the butterflies use to get the nectar out of the flower. It's like a very
Yes.
thin tube.
Yes, it's very
Butterfly
similar
effect.
to that. Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
not a butterfly effect. Sorry.
I know nothing about butterflies. I didn't know they had tongues. Uh,
Is
but
it Ashton Kutcher? Does Ashton Kutcher come out of their mouths?
no, that would be a strange twist. But the old man is going around, and he has the flight manifest, and he's going to each one of the families of the airline passengers, and he's looking for the soon to be victims or victims, and he's killing them off by himself. In this past episode, he enters a house where there are like a whole family full of vampires. And he doesn't succeed, and he almost gets killed himself because I guess he has a heart problem. We find out he has a heart problem in this episode.
He's old.
Yeah, he's old, and he starts to suffer. I don't know what they call it, but his heart starts to bother him, and he's, as usual, when in characters always have to be reaching for their pills. He's reaching for his pill, and he's trying to escape all at the same time. He does manage to get out, so instead of trying to chop their heads off, he just burns the house down.
You know what he needs? He needs a team. He needs a team of expendables.
He needs a team of expand. Yeah,
That's clearly what
I think
he
Barney's busy.
he needs another team of old dudes just like him to go run around and kill
Well,
him.
actually, he makes Sly look young.
Yeah, he does. He does.
They're youngsters. I mean, the funny part was him trying to recruit the guy in the cab. When he hit the guy in the cab, he's like, "Hey, you want to help me put a stop to this?" And he was like, yeah, whatever." Yeah, whatever you're talking about, old man. I gotta take you all the way to Harlem from Queens. But anyway, he does manage to get the doctor does escape from the custody of the FBI, because while the FBI is transporting him, they get attacked by a vampire that the good doctor already knew. F. He recognized him as the medical examiner from the very first episode of the series, the one that was examining the 200 bodies, and was attacked by them. So he's been turned. And I forgot to tell you, a real big thing in this episode, there's an eclipse, which allows the vampires to come out during the middle of the day.
Oh.
So they come out, they're attacking on the street, and kills the FBI agents. And the good doctor gets out of the car, finds the keys, uncuffs himself, and he makes his way to the old man's headquarters, which is like a pawn shop in Harlem, where he meets up with his assistant or his co-doctor, Nora Martinez, and her mother are there as well. And now at the end of the episode, they're going to team up together, it seems like, and they're going to combat these vampires.
So,
Malik, what was your take on it?
no, it's a very interesting concept. Just to think, that's the last thing that you said about this team of people. So you have Dr. Goodweather, who is probably never see. He's just a doctor. He diagnoses and investigates these diseases, but he's not a fighter of any sort, right? And he's definitely not looking. Throughout this entire show thus far, he's not looking to find a way to kill everything that's he's not. I don't think he's recognizing the gravity of the situation that he's facing, right? He's still trying to solve this. Like, he's still trying to be the doctor and figure out a way to solve it, right? And then you've got his doctor friend or his doctor colleague, who now we see is like just trying to figure things out on her own as well. And then you've got this really old dude who thinks he's Bruce Willis, but he's really not, because he's got a heart problem. And then her mom, who's like, I'm sure
She's like the same age. They're probably gonna hook up.
suffering
man.
from dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about that is she'll see the vampire, she'll get disgusted that she'll forget she saw him,
I just want to
and
go
then she can
home.
kill
I
the
just want
next
to go.
one.
She just like like. So this is the team that we have to fight the vampire plague, right? Seriously,
No,
I was.
I bet Malik, I bet you any amount of money the Spanish dude ends up teaming up with them as well. The boxer
Oh, the
guy or
Spanish boxer guy.
the thug, the thug. He's gonna end up teaming up with them
Yeah, I mean it's just an
because
interesting thing, like how this is seemingly going on in the city of New York, and the police have not been rounded up yet. The National Guard isn't involved. Like
well
it's just
because
interesting because all this stuff is
the
kind of going on the sly, right?
because the guys that are behind it have so much money, they're able to hold this off as long as possible. I mean, that was like the whole point. They mentioned that like in the first few episodes. Like they keep putting out these smoke screens. I mean, these vampires are backed by this really rich dude. I guess they promised him eternity or whatever because it seems like he's waiting to be turned, and they
Yeah,
haven't turned him yet.
I thought that was a
Um,
bit. I think that's kind of cruel, actually.
they're like using it like, hey, you keep doing this, we're gonna, you don't worry. Like he's like, I don't need that liver transplant or whatever it was he was getting, kidney transplant. I don't need that kidney transplant. I'm gonna be all right. Then he's like, all right, yeah, I think I need it because they haven't turned me yet, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah, they're keeping that guy on the string. But yeah, I mean they've managed to keep this out of the news, but obviously there's too many people getting killed now. And what was funny was when the two Spanish guys were in the alley, and they actually helped the girls in trouble, and
Right.
then they end up getting arrested.
Yes, that was great. Yeah, they
And he
did.
was like, "Now you show up."
I thought that was great. I thought that was completely indicative of New York NYPD officers
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I
Of
mean, they
how
are
the people how
criminals.
people view the NYPD. I won't say all NYPD officers are that
Yeah,
bad.
but they are criminals. I mean, but they just didn't get busted doing something
Doing,
bad. They actually
doing the
did
actual
something
crime.
good.
We're doing something good, and they got busted for that
Yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah,
ironic.
I find the show thus far. I mean, it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. I like watching it. Not scary. Although I did think that I did think that there were some fear factors in it or whatever. I thought it did have a couple of jumpy moments. My favorite character is still the rat guy.
Yeah, I'm waiting
Um,
for him to team up. He's got to team up with them.
see,
Can't
he's
I
a
can't imagine him
viable
not teaming up with
Yeah,
them.
he's a viable hero in this situation. I
Yeah.
think he could actually hold his own in this battle. Like I
Yeah, and he
said,
was
like
supposed to be an architect. Remember, he's like his dad is like, you gave up being an architect. You were so close, and then you decided you want to be a rat man or whatever it was he called him.
it's just really interesting, like this motley crew of the good guys. The only people that seem to really have an idea as to what the hell's going on is like you go and you're like, is anybody paying attention to what the hell's happening? Does no one not care? Does no one care about getting to the bottom of this? And the guy that you get is like Bob Barker, like seriously,
Yeah.
like he's the guy he's the guy that's gonna bring them out the end of it. And furthermore, you know once the vampires figure out that this old guy is still around and kicking, don't you want to kill him? Like, don't you want to go and
I think
go
I
send
think they don't
somebody
view him as
to?
a threat because the other vampire knows he's around. The head vampire is fully aware of him, and like it doesn't feel threatened at all. He's
That's the
like,
thing. That's the thing that
whatever.
bothers me about this is like, go find the guy, even if he's not a threat. Just go kill him. It doesn't. It does. It's. I mean, it's no skin off your back to
I
go
think
kill
he,
him, right? I mean, that's because he's gonna
yeah,
end up. He's gonna end up
he's not a
having some
threat
kind of
physically, but I think he's a threat where he could tell people what they are, and
exactly.
people now he's starting to get people that believe him, and once he gets the exterminator guy, and then when he gets the other Spanish dude, you know, then there'll be six, and they'll be formidable
I
against
kind of
the
like.
thousands of vampires.
Right. See, I kind of like when the hero kind of appears out of nowhere, right? Like I kind of like when the hero kind of becomes a hero over time, over the course of
Right.
time, or over the course of kind of dealing with the situation. Like F. Like F is a unsuspecting hero. He was not, he did not walk into this thing, trying to be the person to bring about the end of the vampire apocalypse, if you want to call it this. You know, And so he's unsuspecting. They don't have any idea that he is as far connected to this thing as he is. So if he was the one that actually winds up being the one that, solves the problem or kills all the vampires, it's cool. I kind of like that story. When you have that's why the thing with the Expendables and this here, this bothers me because there's this one guy over there that knows exactly what we do, and we could just kill him. And we don't, and we choose not to, and he is going to have some kind of direct or indirect, impact on our ability to take over the world, as it were, or just New York, because they seem to be just focused on taking over New York for some reason.
Like the Teenage Ninja Mutant, like the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
They're like the Foot Clan.
That's my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem. It's my biggest problem with the Foot Clan and Ninja Turtles as well. Like, seriously, kill the rat, kill the turtles. Okay? Then you can go and do all the other shit that you're trying to do.
Well, in their defense, they didn't know the rat and the turtles were around.
No, we're not doing this.
No, when they found
We're
out
not doing this. We're not doing
You
this.
brought it up, Lorenzo.
I'm sorry, but we're not doing this. No.
It's just when you find out
in
that
their defense.
I'm just saying, when
Emily.
you find out that the main adversary to your plan is alive and around, whether they seem to be a viable threat or not, why not just get rid of them? And then if some other unknown hero comes up and takes you down in the process, okay, you deal with that. I just think there's so many smarter bad, the bad guys are so smart up until that one point.
It's the weakness of the bad guy, right? It's right up there with monologuing and doing all that stuff. It's their weakness. They never think anybody's a threat. That's their weakness.
Bad guys literally only come up with 75% of the plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe the other thing too is that if they kill that guy, it gives his words credence.
What, his message? I mean, he's not running around if they could just get some thug in the street to kill this. I mean, this dude is literally on his last leg. He's on the last of his last leg.
They just figure he's gonna die on his own.
They probably just assumed that he would. They obviously assumed that he was already dead, like that he just kind of died of old age over the course of time before they started to, to take over New York again. But but it's just like once you figured out he was alive. Oh yeah, he's alive. Oh yeah, by the way, he's like 88 years old and he's walking with a cane. It's like, oh okay, we can kind of take him out pretty easily. We can just hire somebody to go do that. Go do it. Don't just, I know, by the way, he's the only person in New York City that knows what the hell we're doing, right? Like, this is the reason why I'm just sitting here why is this guy still alive, damn it? Just go kill him.
What are the chances that they pick the city that he's living in?
Oh yeah, they just happen to pick. He's got the pawn shop there. This is what I'm saying.
At the pawn shop here.
Don't set up shop in Jersey because that would have been too difficult, right? It's just the common sense. You realize that this is going to end badly for the vampires at some point in time, and that this old man is going to have something to do with it. And the old man may die doing it.
Yeah, I think he's going to die at the end of the season. I'm sure we're going to get more than one season of The Strain. I don't think they're going to exterminate everybody by the end of the season. So, I would bet that the old man dies before the end of the season, and the good doctor will take over the mantle.
That'd be nice.
And somehow raise an army to combat this vermin.
And he has to use the old guy's sword.
Yeah. For a weak old man, he seems to swing that sword pretty good. He's always chopping heads off with it.
Well, most old people are good at swinging their canes, so pretty much
one stroke. And one stroke, he's chopping heads off. And then the next minute, he can't even walk up the stairs.
And next season, the old guy will be. Next season will be Clint Eastwood. We'll bring Clint Eastwood back to kill vampires next season.
But did you see how easily, remember when the two Spanish guys kill or knock out the one vampire?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the one worm that gets out happens to get into the bigger guy's hand. So he's gonna turn probably in jail.
They turn to a worm?
Yes, so they're
Yeah,
like
they.
worm-like creatures that they get into your skin. They like burrow their way into your skin, and then they infect your body, and then they replicate or reproduce rather,
It's the
and then
parasite.
then you have thousands of them in your body, and then they merge into like one organism, and then you're a vampire.
Yeah,
Um,
that was my other
so you're
question
not.
about it.
So they're not like people.
They are people. They look like people. They walk on 2 feet and everything. They look like people. They just look really deformed.
But they're they're not like from parents. They're from worms.
Yeah. So what happens is when the tongue of the vampire comes out, I'll just call it the tongue. Uh, when it bites you, it injects these worms into your body as well as taking out your blood. So as they're drinking from you, they're injecting these worms into you as well. These parasites.
Yeah, so they're turning you that way. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was weird. Like, if you remember the first episode, Joe, where the medical examiner, one of the worms attaches itself to his hand, right, and he's able
Right.
to pull it off.
He
You
pulled it
know,
out.
he's able to pull it out, whereas this guy was not able to pull it out in time before the cops,
Right. He was
grabbed
trying
him.
to, but he could. Remember, the guy had to use a clasp to pull it out. The medical examiner
Oh
grabbed
yeah,
the
because it was
clasp because he
slippery or
couldn't really
something.
hold on to it,
Yeah,
and he pulled it. This kid, the guy, he couldn't do that. He was grabbing it, and it kept like slipping, and then it just went into his hand. So he's done. He will
yeah,
be turned uh probably in the next episode while they're in jail, and
yeah. I
then
think
he'll
that's
infect
the
everybody in the jail. So
yeah. I think
Yeah.
that was just the fate of Fat Fingers. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
you
just
knew he
kind
was
of
gonna get it.
just kind of you don't have the dexterity to pull the worm out of your hand.
Yeah,
Sorry, dude. You're not gonna make it.
yeah. And the fact that they haven't killed the other one yet tells me he's going to be around for a while because they've had plenty of opportunities to kill him.
Oh, the other Spanish guy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then they just haven't done it.
Why do they keep calling that guy?
I don't know. I mean, they have plenty of opportunities to kill him, and he hasn't been killed yet. So I think he's gonna be one of those. He's gonna become part of the main cast as far as like, you know, part of the army that's put together to fight these things.
And I think that's cool. I mean, he's going to be a Hispanic hero. It's a Hispanic hero character. We don't get a lot of those in shows.
He was a
Yeah,
criminal.
that'd be awesome.
He was a criminal. If I want to see a Hispanic hero, I'll watch Gang Related.
Was a criminal, no longer
Well,
is
I
a
mean,
criminal.
I mean,
Go
in
ahead, Yana.
fantasy too, and horror, fantasy and horror, it's hard to find a Latino superhero, and villains can often redeem themselves too and become heroes. So
Yeah.
I think and the thing about it is, although Joe is right, he is a bad guy, or he's a criminal in this show. He definitely has a lot of redeemable qualities about him.
Yeah,
Obviously, he's
they sent so many mixed messages about him.
right. He's definitely not. A lot of what he does, he's doing them. I guess make money to feed his family or whatever. But he's a young kid that gets himself in trouble doing illegal stuff because he doesn't really obviously doesn't have a skill that he can count on to make a career out of. So he's
His
like
boxing.
he's like a career petty criminal.
His boxing is his
Yeah.
career.
But still, he loves his mom, and he doesn't want his brother, doing bad stuff. He wants to take care of his family. He's like, if anybody's gonna do the crimes, let it be me, so that I can keep you guys out of jail and keep mom happy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I do like the guy. I
Yeah,
like
well,
the character.
It's like when he robbed the coffin from the airport and then gets mad at his brother for stealing a clock from the pawn shop.
Right, because that's his little brother. He doesn't want his little brother going to jail. It's like, if anybody's gonna go to jail, let it be me.
And then he threatened. And then in the same turn, he goes and threatens the landlord when the landlord comes around looking for the rent.
Was it? Yeah, was that? Yeah, she was looking for the rent from the
Yeah,
mother.
I don't think he threatened him because he was asking for the money. I think it was the way he asked for the money.
Yeah.
That's when he threatened him. Yeah, okay. I'll correct myself on that. He just didn't like the way he was talking to his mother, so he threatened to kill him.
Yeah.
He said, "You go find yourself outside with the garbage or something."
Yeah. Well, don't talk to my mom like that, dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of how we roll.
So they send mixed messages about him, but in the end, I think he will be with the A team. He'll be with the exterminator, the doctors, and the old guy at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah, that old guy's gonna outlive all of us. Clearly.
Well, the guy survived the what you call it? Oh my god.
The Holocaust.
Yes, thank you.
There you go.
That's so bad. He survived the Holocaust, and he survived already one of these things. The first takeover, which he thwarted many years before, and now he's trying to thwart this takeover. So
Yeah, we'll see where
We'll
he
see.
goes.
I
Yeah,
can't
we'll see.
wait.
It's good. So that's it for tonight. That's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have run down everything for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Go out and see The Expendables 3. If you haven't yet, go see Guardians. Maybe you'll see Johanna in the theater with you watching it. Maybe you won't, because she'll find a way to miss it again. Next week we'll do much of the same. We'll cover the box office. Maybe some of us will get a chance to see some of the movies that are coming out this week and have come out in the recent week. So we'll have a nice review for you. And we have a podcast coming up. Do we not? Who's leading it this week?
That would be me.
That would be Lorenzo. So
Lorenzo.
do you have your topic yet or no?
Oh, I do.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask you. I want to be surprised.
Element of surprise on his side.
Absolutely. This is whenever Lorenzo does a podcast, I just kind of want to be surprised when it comes up, because he has a tendency, and then he also has a tendency to like tell us what it's about, and then that doesn't have anything to do with the agenda is so random, and I like that. I like the fact that it's randomized, but it leads you down a path towards something great. So I look forward to it.
My agendas make perfect sense. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, okay.
They're like the script for Expendables 3.
Okay.
From the mind of Lorenzo. Well, absolutely. If you guys have listened to this podcast before, you know how to reach out to us: Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook. I'm sure we're going to have an Instagram up there at some point in time. agentsofhelm.com. You can see all of our content. And if you don't know how to get to us, then you know what? You haven't been listening enough. And maybe you need to go back and listen to some previous episodes, because I'm not going to make Johanna do it again for you people.
I think she liked it, but agentsofhelm.com. You can find us there. agentsofhelm.com. agentsofhelm.com.
Well, Johanna, I feel like that it's like beating a dead horse, or it's like telling the kid over and over and over again to eat their lima beans, right? So, at some point in time, exactly. At some point in time, they just got to learn.
agentsofhelm.com.
I don't know. All the other shows I listen to, they give. But you know what? Like, Lorenzo has a good point. Let's keep it simple. agentsofhelm.com. They can find everything there.
Absolutely.
Anything else is redundant other than our Twitter handles.
And they can even find them there too, if they're really looking.
Hard. agentsofhelm.com.
Good point.
All right, guys. So for Lorenzo, Johanna, and Joe, I am Malik. We are the Agents of Helm. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Peace out.
Later.